She told me, just one night. Now I'm confused. A true infidelity story. It started with a message that felt harmless at first. One of those, hey, long time no talk, texts that pop up when you least expect them. I hadn't spoken to her in years, not since we both moved on from that little thing we had in college. It was never serious back then. Flirty, maybe. Convenient, definitely. But that was years ago. I was in a relationship now. A serious one. The kind where you start thinking about shared bank accounts and weekend trips to IKEA. So when I saw her name flash across my screen, I almost didn't reply. Almost. But curiosity gets the best of us, doesn't it? One reply turned into a back and forth, then a call, then plans to just catch up, you know, the way old friends do. That's what I told myself. That's what I told my girlfriend when she asked who I was texting. And I believed it too. At least, I wanted to believe it. The night we met up, it wasn't anything dramatic. Just drinks at a quiet bar, some laughs about old memories, a lot of remember when moments. She looked good. Not in a made-up or trying too hard kind of way, just familiar. Comfortable. The type of good that makes you forget what year it is for a second. We talked for hours, and I kept checking the time, not because I wanted to leave, but because I couldn't believe how quickly it was passing. Then came the line. The one that flipped everything upside down. She looked at me, a little smile playing on her lips, and said, just one night. That's all. No explanation. No pressure. Like she was tossing a coin into a fountain and walking away. It didn't feel like a trap. It didn't feel like anything dangerous in that moment. Just tempting. And confusing. And suddenly, I was in a space where everything felt blurred. Was it cheating if it was just one night? Was it betrayal if no one found out? Was I really that unhappy, or was I just chasing something that used to make me feel alive? I wish I could tell you I walked away. I wish I could say I had it all figured out, that I knew where the line was and stayed on the right side of it. But what happened next left me questioning everything, my relationship, my morals, and honestly, myself. This isn't just a story about infidelity. It's a story about decisions made in split seconds, about the stories we tell ourselves when we don't want to face the truth, and about the aftermath that no one talks about. So when she said, just one night, I didn't know it would turn into something that would haunt me long after the night ended. And what happened after that? Let's just say, it didn't stop there. Let me know if you'd like to continue the next part of the story or explore a deeper dive into the character's emotional conflict. We left the bar around midnight. The streets were quiet, the kind of quiet that makes everything feel more intense than it really is. She walked a little ahead of me, like she knew exactly where this was going and was just giving me time to catch up. I told myself I could still pull away. That nothing had happened yet. But deep down, I think I already knew. I had crossed a line the moment I agreed to meet her. She lived just a few blocks away, in one of those old buildings with creaky staircases and peeling paint. We barely spoke on the walk. It was like the air between us was heavy with everything we weren't saying. My heart was pounding, not from excitement, but from this strange mix of guilt and adrenaline. I thought about my girlfriend, how we'd been a little distant lately, how we kept brushing things under the rug instead of talking. I thought about how easy it was to justify things when you felt misunderstood or disconnected. Inside her apartment, the tension got louder. Not from what was happening, but from what wasn't. She poured us drinks, same way she used to back in college. She had this calmness about her that made me feel even more off balance. Like she was in control, and I was just reacting. We sat on the couch, and I remember looking around her place, noticing little things. Pictures of her travels, books stacked by the window, a half-finished puzzle on the coffee table. It felt lived in. Real. Nothing about it screamed trap or mistake, but maybe that's what made it so dangerous. It felt too normal. Then she said it again, quietly this time, almost like a whisper. Just one night. She wasn't asking. She wasn't even waiting for an answer. It was like she already knew what I'd decided. But here's the thing, what really messed with my head wasn't what happened between us that night. It was what happened after. The next morning, she didn't act like anything had changed. She was casual, chill, as if we'd just had a conversation and nothing more. No expectations. No pressure. And when I left, she didn't ask for anything. No promises. No follow-ups. But something felt off. Not just with me, but with her. Like she knew something I didn't. And when I got home, that feeling wouldn't go away. It stayed with me. And that's when I started noticing things. Calls I missed, messages from people I hadn't spoken to in a while, strange coincidences that didn't feel like coincidences at all. Let me know if you want to keep going with what happens next or dig deeper into the unraveling secrets behind her intentions. Back at home, things felt different, off in a way I couldn't explain. My girlfriend noticed it too. She didn't say anything at first, but I caught her looking at me longer than usual, like she was trying to read something on my face. I told myself I was imagining it. But the silence between us grew louder. We still went through the motions, cooking dinner, watching Netflix, texting during the day, but there was this invisible wall between us that hadn't been there before. And it was all because I knew something she didn't. Or maybe she knew more than I thought. I kept replaying that night in my head, trying to justify it, trying to separate the guilt from the reality. It was just one night, I'd tell myself. It didn't mean anything. But that phrase started to feel more like a lie every time I said it. Because it did mean something. And the worst part? I wasn't even sure what it meant to me. Was it about closure? Escape? Or something deeper I hadn't faced yet? A week passed, and then I got a text from her. Not my girlfriend, the other woman. It was casual again. Friendly. She said she hoped I was doing okay, and that she meant what she said, no expectations, no strings. But then she added something strange. You should check in on who you trust. That's all it said. I stared at that message for minutes. It didn't make sense, until I started wondering if she was talking about my girlfriend. And that's when the real conflict started to form, not just between me and my girlfriend, but inside my own head. I started questioning everything. Had she found out? Was this some kind of revenge? Or was the woman I met up with playing some kind of game I didn't understand? Around the same time, I noticed my girlfriend acting differently too. She was more distant, quieter than usual. She stayed late at work more often. She kept her phone close, like glued to her side. One night, she left it on the counter when she went to shower, and I saw a message pop up from someone I didn't recognize. It wasn't anything obvious, just a "see you later," with a smiley face. But it hit me hard. I had started this mess. But now, I wasn't sure if I was the only one hiding something. Let me know if you'd like to keep following the twists as they unfold or explore what's really going on behind both of their actions. I didn't sleep that night. That message on her phone kept looping through my mind. See you later? With a smiley face. It could have been nothing. A coworker, a friend, something innocent. But after what I had done, I didn't know how to look at anything the same way. Everything felt suspicious. Every look she gave me, every time she turned her screen slightly away, every small detail suddenly felt like a clue I had missed. The tension between us got worse. We were both walking around like actors pretending the script was still the same. Smiles at breakfast, quick hugs before work, but under it all was this weight we couldn't shake. I started pulling away, and so did she. We were still technically together, still living under the same roof, but emotionally, we were miles apart. Then I got another message from her, the woman from that night. This time, it wasn't vague. You should really talk to her. Before someone else does. My stomach dropped. Was this blackmail? Was she warning me? Or was she involved in something bigger than I realized? I hadn't told her anything about my girlfriend, not really. Just the basics. So how would she know something was off, unless she had been digging? I started thinking back to that night, how casual she seemed, how calm. Too calm. Like someone who had a plan. Suddenly, all the little things she said came flooding back. Jokes about timing, cryptic comments about people changing, hints that felt harmless in the moment but now felt pointed. I couldn't take it anymore. I needed answers. So one night, I asked my girlfriend straight out, calm, quiet, trying not to sound like I was accusing her of anything. Just asking. She didn't deny anything. But she didn't confirm it either. She just looked at me, eyes tired, and said, "Is this really about me, or about what you did?" That hit harder than I expected. Because now I wasn't sure who was hurting who. Or if we were both just caught in something we couldn't undo. The next morning, she was gone before I woke up. No note, no text. Just, gone. And that was the day I found something in her drawer. Something she hadn't meant for me to see. Let me know if you'd like to uncover what was in the drawer and how everything unravels next. It was tucked beneath a few old receipts and a stack of cards in the bottom drawer of her nightstand. I wasn't looking for anything specific, I didn't even know why I opened it. Maybe part of me was hoping to be wrong, to find nothing, to prove to myself that this paranoia was all in my head. But what I found hit me harder than anything I could have imagined. A small, folded envelope. Inside, there were printed photos. Not old ones of us. Not something sentimental. These were recent. Of me. Of us. Taken without me knowing. One photo showed me and the other woman walking into that bar. Another, us sitting at the booth, laughing. Then another, and another. One of us walking back toward her apartment. I felt sick. My hands went cold. These weren't selfies or blurry shots from someone's phone. These were clear. Taken from a distance, like someone had been following me. Watching. I stared at the envelope again. No name. No note. Just a return address I didn't recognize, scribbled faintly in the corner. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. My first thought was that she, the woman from that night, had done this. Maybe this was her way of getting leverage. Maybe she had planned it all from the start. But the longer I stared at those photos, the more a different thought crept in. What if my girlfriend had these sent to herself? That would explain the message she got. The quiet distance. Her question, is this really about me, or about what you did? Maybe she wasn't just suspicious. Maybe she already knew. And maybe, she wasn't the only one who knew. The idea that someone had been tracking me, possibly even waiting for me to slip up, it made everything feel so much bigger than I'd thought. This wasn't just a mistake anymore. It was a setup. Or worse, a game. I needed answers. I messaged the other woman. I asked her straight out if she had taken the photos or if she knew who had. Her reply came quickly, almost too quickly. You weren't the only one with secrets. That was all she said. I called her. No answer. I called again. Straight to voicemail. My mind started spinning. What was she talking about? What secrets? What did she know that I didn't? And most of all, why now? Why any of this? I kept thinking back to the way that night unfolded. How smooth everything had felt. Like it had already been planned. Like I wasn't making decisions, I was just walking into someone else's story. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the kitchen, staring at the photos, waiting for my girlfriend to come home. But she didn't. Her phone was off. Her location was unavailable. And just before dawn, I got one more message, from a number I didn't recognize. It said, "You should have stopped at just one night." Let me know if you want to follow what happens after that message and the truth that finally comes out. The message stayed on my screen, glowing in the dark kitchen like it was daring me to reply. You should have stopped at just one night. My mind raced with possibilities. Was it a threat? A warning? Or was someone just trying to mess with my head? I didn't recognize the number. No name. No hint. Just that sentence. But it told me everything I needed to know. Someone had been watching me the entire time. And this wasn't just about infidelity anymore. This was personal. Around 6 a.m., my girlfriend walked in. She looked exhausted, her eyes puffy like she hadn't slept either. Before I could even open my mouth, she said, "I know." She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just said it, calm and flat, like she'd already had all the emotions and was now just empty. I've known for a while. About that night. About her. She walked past me and set her bag down like it was any other day. I asked her how. And that's when everything started to unravel. Turns out, she had been suspicious for weeks before that night ever happened. She'd seen the texts when I left my phone unlocked one afternoon. She didn't say anything then. Instead, she waited. Quietly. She hired a friend, someone who worked in private security, to follow me, just once, to confirm what she already knew in her gut. Those photos I found in the drawer? She didn't plant them there for me to find. They were part of a file she'd forgotten to move. She had been planning to leave, but something stopped her. "I didn't want to leave until I knew if you'd admit it," she said. "I wanted to see who you'd become after the lie." I sat there, stunned. I had nothing to say. Nothing to defend. She had caught me. And worse, she had waited for me to come clean, and I hadn't. I'd been spinning in paranoia, while she'd been quietly dealing with a betrayal that hit deeper than I could imagine. But just when I thought I had all the answers, she dropped the final twist. "She's not who you think she is," she said, looking me in the eye. "The woman from that night? She used to date my brother." I froze. I didn't even know her brother had an ex. My girlfriend kept going. "They broke up badly. She always felt like our family ruined him. When she saw you with me, I think she saw a chance to get back at someone. She didn't want you. She wanted to hurt me." Everything clicked in that moment. The sudden reconnection, the cryptic messages, the photos, the setup, it wasn't random. I had walked right into it. I thought I was in control, making bad choices. But I was being used from the start. And as my girlfriend quietly walked into the bedroom and shut the door behind her, I finally understood. I didn't just lose her trust. I was never the main character in this story. Let me know if you'd like to see what happens after the fallout or explore the consequences that follow. The days that followed felt like walking through fog. The kind where you know where you are, but nothing looks the same anymore. My girlfriend, well, ex-girlfriend now, moved out a week later. No big fight. No dramatic goodbye. Just quiet packing, a few stiff conversations, and then one final moment at the door where she looked at me and said, "I hope someday you understand why all of this happened." Then she was gone. I didn't reach out to the other woman. I didn't need to. The damage was done, and whatever reason she had for dragging me into her mess didn't matter anymore. Maybe it was revenge. Maybe it was just opportunity. Either way, I'd let it happen. I'd stepped into something knowing I shouldn't. Thinking I could walk away without consequences. But life doesn't work that way. Choices come back around. And this one came back with a price. For a while, I kept thinking back to that phrase, "just one night." How it sounded so harmless. Temporary. No strings. But that night didn't stay in a box. It reached into every part of my life and pulled things apart. It forced me to see myself in a way I hadn't before. Not just as someone who made a mistake, but as someone who avoided hard conversations, who ignored red flags, and who let silence grow where honesty should have lived. The strange part is, that night didn't just reveal what was broken in my relationship. It also showed me what was missing in me. All the small resentments I never voiced. The emotional distance I never bridged. The way I drifted through routine thinking things would fix themselves. I blamed the tension on being busy, on stress, on time. But deep down, I was disconnected. And I didn't face it until it was too late. I've spent a lot of time alone since then. Not in a sad, dramatic way, just quiet. Reflective. I started journaling, picked up a few books on trust and self-awareness, and slowly began rebuilding the parts of myself I'd neglected. There's no big ending where I say I fixed everything or that I found someone new and it all worked out. That's not where I am. And that's okay. If there's one thing I've taken from all this, it's that emotional honesty matters more than we admit. Being vulnerable, being uncomfortable, having those real conversations, they're hard, but they're worth it. Because if you don't face what's real, someone else will show you the cost of avoiding it. So yeah, it started with just one night. But it ended with a lifetime lesson. And I'll carry that with me, one honest step at a time. End pushpin YouTube video title, She Told Me Just One Night. Now I'm confused. A true infidelity story. Crying face. Broken heart. Open book description. Approximate 6,000 characters. Broken heart. Welcome to a story that many can relate to but few ever talk about out loud. This video tells a real-life infidelity story, full of emotion, betrayal, secrets, and unexpected twists. It all started with one simple line, just one night. But what followed changed everything. Movie camera. In this intense and deeply human tale, we explore the emotional roller coaster that comes when trust is broken, intentions are misunderstood, and people get caught in a web of their own choices. It's not just a story about cheating, it's about the cracks in relationships that go unnoticed, the guilt that follows mistakes, and the heavy price of silence. Key in this video, you will experience a true emotional infidelity story. Brain. The moment a relationship starts to drift whole. The psychological impact of cheating. Thought balloon. How secrets build tension in a relationship. Puzzle piece. Unexpected twists that make you question everything. Exploding head. How betrayal affects trust long-term. Locked with key. A deep reflection on love, mistakes, and personal growth. Seedling. Magnifying glass. Tilted left. Relevant keywords for YouTube SEO. True infidelity story, cheating story time, relationship betrayal, emotional cheating, real cheating experience, story of heartbreak, one-night mistake, toxic relationship story, breakup story, emotional affair, cheating in a relationship, cheating gone wrong, relationship trust issues, relationship drama, trust and betrayal story, real-life relationship story, cheating revenge twist, true relationship confession, love triangle, true story cheating scandal. Memo. Why this story matters. This isn't just about drama. It's about what happens when we don't talk, when we let resentment build, and when we ignore the signs that something's broken. Relationships can fall apart not in big moments, but in the small ones. And sometimes, it takes one night to reveal what was already unraveling inside. Whether you've been betrayed, been the one who made the mistake, or just want to understand the emotional impact of infidelity, this story will speak to you. It's real, raw, and deeply personal. Warning. Disclaimer. This video does not promote or glorify cheating or infidelity. It is meant for educational and storytelling purposes only, showing how choices have consequences and the emotional damage that infidelity can cause. This content fully complies with YouTube's community guidelines. Bell. Don't forget to thumbs up, like, speech balloon. Comment your thoughts. Have you ever been through something like this? Repeat button. Share with someone who might relate. White heavy checkmark. Subscribe for more real-life stories and relationship talk. Pushpin. Timestamps, optional if you use chapters in your video. Midnight. Intro 1:30. How it all started 5 o'clock. The turning point 9:20. The confrontation 14:45. The twist 1800 hours. Final reflection. Speech balloon. Have you ever experienced something similar? Or do you think emotional betrayal hurts more than physical? Let's talk about it in the comments. Your story might help someone else feel less alone. Red heart. Stay connected and follow for more true stories. Email for collaborations. Your email, camera with flash. Instagram, your IG handle, studio microphone. TikTok, your TikTok handle. Hashtag truestory, hashtag infidelity story, hashtag cheating confession, hashtag emotional betrayal, hashtag relationship drama, hashtag one night mistake, hashtag breakup story, hashtag real life story, hashtag love and loss, hashtag healing after cheating, hashtag storytime, hashtag relationship confessions, hashtag YouTube storytime. White heavy checkmark. Total, approximate 500 words of YouTube tags, comma separated for direct use. True story, infidelity story, cheating story, relationship story, one-night mistake, love betrayal, breakup story, emotional cheating, cheating gone wrong, trust issues, emotional affair, cheating experience, storytime, toxic relationship story, real-life cheating, relationship drama, caught cheating, cheating confession, true relationship story, real love story, love triangle, heartbreak story, true heartbreak, emotional story. Storytime cheating, drama story, cheating girlfriend, cheating boyfriend, cheating exposed, relationship gone wrong, one-night stand consequences, dating gone wrong, trust and betrayal, emotional damage, cheating pain, love and betrayal, love and regret, relationship twist, cheating scandal, infidelity confession, YouTube storytime, story with twist, unexpected ending, relationship truth, cheating karma, true events, love mistake, love gone wrong, cheating reality, caught in act, painful. Breakup, regret after cheating, regretful decisions, story about cheating, cheating real story, storytelling video, betrayal story, love lesson, love drama, emotional twist, cheating and lies, painful story, exposed secrets, heartbreaking confession, real story time, night of mistake, dramatic love story, emotional breakup, honest relationship story, mistake in love, storytime betrayal, life-changing night, powerful love story, late night drama, shocking confession, cheating regret, love loss. Deep emotional story, girlfriend cheating story, boyfriend cheated, night regret story, emotional journey, storytime YouTube, real drama, broken trust, true love drama, heart-touching story, love trap, emotional reality, cheating game, true emotional experience, love triangle drama, YouTube emotional video, betrayal and love, drama confession, dark love story, cheating moment, real heartbreak, storytime video, love and trust, cheating and guilt, heartbreaking twist, love triangle experience. Relationship twist story, emotional storytelling video, storytime lovers, cheating truth, human love story, relatable relationship story, breakup experience, caught in love drama, trust issues in love, cheating secrets, shocking real story, modern love story, emotional YouTube story, raw relationship truth, infidelity experience, confession story time, drama and betrayal, love mistake confession, painful cheating experience, storytelling infidelity, real relationship drama, cheating and pain. Emotional realization, late night betrayal, powerful relationship story directed photo prompt, English, optimized for best results. A beautiful American woman in her late 20s, standing alone in a dimly lit kitchen at night, soft warm lighting from above casting gentle shadows on her face, looking emotionally distant and reflective, messy hair, wearing a loose hoodie, subtle makeup, holding a phone loosely in her hand, faint glow from the phone screen on her face, dramatic yet natural expression. Cinematic look, moody atmosphere, shallow depth of field, high resolution, soft contrast, realistic photography style 2.